Hey, what's up, podcast? It's Jeff. Just want to jump in here. This is a special bonus episode of Teach Better Talk. This is actually going to be the audio recording from a Facebook Live that our team is doing every single day, Monday through Friday, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time in our Facebook private group. You can get in that group at teachbettergroup.com or go on to Facebook and just search Teach Better Team. You'll see our page and then you'll see the group. Get in there. So here we go, a special bonus episode of Teach Better Talk pulled from one of our Facebook Live videos in our private group at teachbettergroup.com. Hope you enjoy. Roll 16. Wow. We're like in the mix of things. It's bright and early. It's 8 a.m. Eastern Time here in Ohio, which is where Brianna and I both are, so that's the only time that matters right now. If you are further west of us, you're waking up early with us, and we really, really appreciate that. I've got Brianna Fennell here, who is not quite 2 hours south of where I am, so not too far away, fellow Ohioan here. And we're going to get into, as everyone jumps in here, Brianna, I'm going to have you introduce yourself in a second here, but I want to get everyone in. I got to bring up my phone here to see if I can chat with everyone and watch your comments come through. And we are live. We're officially good, so that's good. I see Megan's watching. Paul's in here. Good to see you. Glad you guys could jump in. We are live right now. If you were listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, obviously this has been pre-recorded. If you want to get into the live version and interact with us live in the mornings, you need to jump into the private Facebook group by going to teachbettergroup.com or searching Teach Better Team on Facebook and getting in there. That way you can get in here, you can comment, you can ask questions, you can be involved in that. But if you are listening to the podcast, we appreciate you listening on Teach Better Talk. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit a like there too as well. So good morning, Mr. Kaplan down there. Megan says good morning. Jeff Kaplan says good morning. Good to see you. Chiming in we got Megan in Illinois, part of the team, and Mr. Kaplan down right by Atlanta, who's a superstar teacher. Kristen's on. Hi, Kristen. I see you watching. So, Brian, let's go ahead and dive into this. So I know, Kristen says, hi, Bri.
Hi.
With all kinds of exclamation points, just so you know how excited she was. And Jeff too. Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you. So for those that are, as everyone's checking in here and getting in, for those that aren't connected to you, that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I already mentioned that you're in Ohio, but you can get more specific if you want, and what you do, what you teach, all that type of stuff. Real quick, say hi to Paul. Paul's in Southern Indiana, New Louisville. Good to see you, Paul. So yeah, Brianna, tell us a little about yourself. Introduce yourself for everyone who doesn't know you yet.
Yes, I am so happy to be here. I have been using these daily drop-ins every day with my coffee as like my new routine to get started in the morning. I am a first and second grade looping teacher. So this was actually one of my looping years. So I already knew my kids really well and my families. And so I am at Ashland City Schools, and I just kind of want to give a shout out to like our administrators who have had to make really hard decisions, our classified staff who are still working, delivering meals to our families and making sure they have the materials they need to learn. They're cleaning and getting kids tech. They're checking out Chromebooks. And all my colleagues that are just working together amazingly. Like when I look back, it feels like, we jumped like 2 feet in and, just helping each other. And I think everybody using their strengths together, like the Teach Better team, better together. We are, we're figuring this thing out, and we had spring break last week, and now we were like, okay, we're ready for whatever we can, whatever this thing is. Yeah. We're going to do it together. So
love it. Good morning, Dave Schmidt said only here for a few. We'll take whatever we can, Dave. Ray says, hi, friends, but I do need to notify everyone. Make sure you see that Ray originally put HU, who. I don't know what you were trying to say. I assume she's trying to say hi, but hasn't had her coffee yet. Kyle, what's up, buddy? Kyle's watching, one of one of our newest team members. Alex Linsek, good morning, friends. The sun is shining in northwestern Illinois, but it's still super cold. We have snow on the ground, like legit snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Right now. Or you can't see our grass. It's crazy. Hari says, good morning. Good morning, Hari. Good. Always awesome to see you in here. Ray wants to know, can we talk about Jeff's mug? So this was the first coffee mug I got as a dad. That is my son, Jonathan, as a little baby. He is now 8.5, second grader, which is making talking to you going to be fun. So there's my mug. I hope that she just wanted to see Jonathan. Randy's watching, says good morning. Good to see you, Randy. Always awesome to have you on here. So
Morning.
Let's talk about, so I love the fact that you shouted out your administrators, because that's, I think, something that's been really, that I've been impressed with, is how quickly so many districts were able to flip and take care of the logistics of things like delivering meals and getting tech tools out if they had them and adjusting that ways. And I think that's really important to acknowledge. So that was a great shout out. I appreciate that. So as a father who has a son that's in second grade, I'm curious, because I've got my son's in second grade, my daughter's in kindergarten. He's doing pretty well with all of this. The staff here at Stowe did very well at taking the spring break that was already planned to really organize themselves and get things going, and then have done, I think, very well as far as organizing stuff and not piling too much on, but giving us plenty to work through if we want to work through so many optional things, and providing enough for those parents that want to push their kids more and can, but not piling on too much for the parents that have to deal with other circumstances that just simply can't put in the time that it takes to do a lot. The kids are doing well. Jonathan's done pretty well with Google Classroom. He's doing well with that. But I'm curious, as a teacher of second and first grade stuff, so where your biggest struggles have been, or maybe currently are, and how you were able to overcome those, what you put in place, and how your students are sort of adjusting to all this. Can you kind of share just how this has all been for you with I think with the elementary age, there's obviously other obstacles that come in, like, for example, just, reading ability level and all that type of stuff. So sort of how's it been for you? What's the ride been like so far for you?
I think that my kids have done phenomenal. And if anybody's watching, hi, because I just I love teaching. It's my passion. It's what I've always wanted to do. And so, this is just teaching in a different way. And so I think just keeping those connections with my kids that's been the hardest thing, is just not seeing their faces and seeing their reaction. And I think teaching is, 80% theater. And I am I had been to the Ron Clark Academy. I'm a stand on the desk, stand on a chair, deliver that lesson. And I think that's been one of the hardest things is, okay, well, here's a list of things that you need to do. And that's important that they have just a paper that they can check off. But that's so not how I would deliver that content, if that makes sense. So just working through those Google Meets, that's been a huge thing for us, is setting up times to connect with kids and just seeing their faces, because then I can play off of, their fun stuff there. We were reading a read aloud before, and, we're so lucky that so many publishing companies have gone out and given us rights to at least read aloud to our own students. It kills me as a second grade teacher that I can't put books in the hands of every kid. I consider myself a book matcher. I will find out what you love and I will find it in book form and we will connect it together. And so the fact that I can't do that has been really hard. But we started, there's just been some new programs. My kids are already on Google Classroom, but we tried another program called Raz Kids, where we can find books on there. The kids can press a record button, and so then I can hear them actually reading their books. I brought my document camera from school, and I have it right here on my kitchen table so that I can do like those interactive read alouds with vocab. And it's just fun, like seeing them type in the comments on the Google Meets, like, wow, that was a great story. And so I'm trying to find like those things I'm super passionate about that I would like, I would do for my kids, and trying to figure out how to do that not face to face. That's been a big thing. And I mentioned to you, Jeff, I have an 8-year-old who's a second grader, and then I have a 4-year-old. And my 4-year-old was getting speech and OT and PT, and just shout out to those people that just love on my Max. Like, they have made sure that he has had like everything that he would need to be successful. And it's so funny seeing, a 4-year-old prop up on the chair and on my lap and like talk to his teachers through, like, he's a little bit spirited, my Max. And so occasionally he'll run off and get a Mario character and like hold it up to the camera, and they just laugh it off. He's 4. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you know this, but I am an author with EduMatch. And so my book is called A Play Yay. Mm-hmm. And so I am all about the play-based learning. And so, finding that balance between play and tech and, combining those is a big thing. And so there are so many resources out there that we're trying to figure out. And one of them is Flipgrid. And so I don't know how I wasn't a Flipgrid user before, but I have, muddled through Flipgrid the past couple of days. And it is so fun. Like, my kids right now are doing their talents on Flipgrid. And like, I'm learning still about my kids, and I've had them, for almost 2 years. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this kid's an awesome singer. Like, or, some of their talents are kind of interesting. Like, so, just trying to build relationships and keep connections with kids. That's all we can. I mean, if we can keep that, and we can keep learning exciting for kids. And for me, I have my book nerd shirt on. I had to have a hoodie like Jeff. So
I actually don't have a hoodie this morning. I just got.
I know. I was like, what happened?
I know. I messed it all up. I'm sorry.
So yeah, it's just. Also, I'm like totally off topic, but where are the Teach Better hoodies? Like, we need to get this happening.
You can actually get them. We haven't really pushed this out because of when it launched and everything happening. But if you go to teachbetterswag.com, there's some swag. Oh yeah, there's a swag site. So we do have some different different shirts and sweatshirts and stuff, and we're working on getting more because we kind of had to put a halt on the designs that are up there and stuff. So you tell us what we need, and we'll start creating it. So, good morning to Andrea, Aaron, great to see you. Holly, always awesome to see you. Becky's in here. Aaron said, Holly says, good morning, everyone. Aaron says, well said, Brianne. This is still teaching, just looks different. Dave seconds that it is still teaching. I think at times we sell ourselves short by saying otherwise. If we double down and lean into each other, then we can actually enhance our creativity. I'm loving these daily drop-ins because they inspire me so much to think outside of my own box. Appreciate that, Dave, a lot. Becky says, hi, Jeff and Brianne. Hi. Joe is watching. He says, good morning. Awesome to see you. I love seeing so many people. I love these daily drop-ins because, like, we get to see everyone popping up, saying good morning, and from all over the country and stuff. It's really, really cool. So, curious with the Flipgrid. Did you happen to take did you go through Megan's videos? Did you use those, or did you just kind of dive and explore? Or?
I didn't. I just dived and I went all in and explored, but I should go back and read or watch some of those videos so that I can kind of perfect my game here. So far, we have just a couple up, and one was an introduction video, and we already knew each other, but just so they could practice with the Flipgrid. And then this talent show idea came from one of my colleagues, and so I was like, this is going to be awesome because I'm going to get to see the kids just having fun and not just like in front of the screen.
Like you said, learn about them, right? I mean,
right.
Learn these new talents. Alex is asking if the swag has the logo, though. Shirts don't. They have they say it on them. We're gonna get some up with the logo and stuff on there too. Bug Ray, Alex, she'll get that happening for you. That's Mary. Good morning,
sorry, Ray.
What's that?
I said sorry, Ray. I brought up.
I'm not sorry at all. Don't you dare apologize for me. Nuh-uh. Mary Ritter said it's my favorite time of the day. You guys are amazing and give so many wonderful ideas. Just let me know that what I'm doing is pretty good. It's more than pretty good, Mary. You're doing awesome. Brandy, good morning. Dave, 8 a.m. says 8 a.m. is like the old school 8 p.m. Thursday must see TV. He's referencing Master Chat. So that's awesome. Appreciate that, Dave. So, I want to talk through so you kind of touched on some of this, but if we can get specific about were there so you guys just had spring break. Yeah. But we've been closed down in Ohio for a while. So the weeks leading up to spring break, were you guys just focusing purely on enrichment, no new content? Or were you just kind of sitting back? Like, what were those weeks like leading up? Because we had spring breaks like 3 weeks ago. So it was a little bit different. So you guys are different than that. So what were the weeks prior to spring break like with everything closed? What was your focus as a district and you personally?
Yes, our focus was on enrichment, no new content. But the Friday, we had 3 weeks before spring break. So the Friday that we heard about it, we sent stuff home that day. Now, not everything, but we sent home enough for 3 weeks up until spring break. Because at that point, we were just like, okay, we can just make it till spring break. We've got this. This is not going to be a problem. And then we had meeting Google Meets. We had, people were just starting to set up their Google Classrooms. And I found out one of my favorite things that I've done is help other teachers with their tech. So teachers got on and just practiced their Google Meets, so that they could try out all the tools with me before they actually had kids on there. Helping people set up their Google Classrooms, just whatever I could do within my wheelhouse to help other people, and other people have done the same too. It's been amazing just watching people kind of reach out and share their own talents and strengths with other people. How great is that? And just getting I've gotten to know a lot of my colleagues because we're on the phone all the time. Hey, well, how are you doing this? Not comparing, but just being okay, well, how could I do this better? Or is there a simpler way, or a way that is more kid friendly? Because, we have very young kids on all this technology. Now, I mean, my son, and this too, he is, a video gamer. And so I found that he hasn't needed a ton of help. His has been more his focus.
Sure.
If we can just focus on this for just a little bit, you'll be done. And so he's kind of figured that out. If he gets started right away in the morning, he has his afternoon to do other things. And so, I've seen a lot of these charts, and people might comment about it too. It's how much time should they actually be doing content? And so kind of looking at that as we've had some meetings as grade level facilitators and teacher leaders on how much should they actually be on the computer, and how much should they actually, what are our biggest focuses? We don't, we are in this reality where we just want, we want the kids to maintain what they've had. But as we know, then this is a big thing of mine is trauma does things to the brain. So my kids have us at home right now. My husband is working from home as well. But I have so many parents, and shout out to them. They're connecting with me, and being well, we're behind. Well, no, you're not. You go at your own pace, because, the content's going to be there. Like, take care of your,
Mhm.
your well-being, your household, like family is first. Just read some books. Like, that's my, like, keep reading, please. Like, um,
And that's such a big piece for and important to continually communicate that with your families, is that giving them that grace that, look, we understand, like, it's new for all of us. It's obviously new for you. You have challenges that we don't even know about. Um, so yeah, I love that you're saying that. Like, no, you're not behind. Just keep at it. You're fine.
right.
So I think that's really, really important. As a parent, I can assure you that that makes it a lot easier to relax. I was telling you before we went live that I was so just tense at the start of it, trying to make sure that I did everything right and put on schedules and all these things together. And it was actually my wife that the one day leaving, because my wife's still essential. She's like, hey, just so you know, if school isn't perfect today, it's okay. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So Joe says he thinks teachers should dress like NASCAR drivers, fire suit, and wear the
Yeah.
companies or products they use. He wants to do that for the Teach Better conference. Joe, I want to make that happen as well for the Teach Better conference. So you just committed to that. You are walking around in one of those seats. We're going to figure that out for that. So I don't know how, but one way or another, we're going to figure that out. Ray wants everyone to know when she is working on T-shirts as we speak. People, DM me request. She says, haha, but I don't think it's a joke. So if you have a request for things to get up on our swag site, go to teachbetterswag.com, check that out, see what you like, what you don't like, and then get Ray and tell her what we need on there, and we'll get things made. We're still working on that. Like I said, that was kind of like in the quote unquote launch phase, right as all this started to happen. So we just sort of put it out and didn't do. It's been a highly requested thing. So we'll keep those coming. Anyway, so let me ask you.
Sure.
I think I already know the answer because you've mentioned some of them. But what's sort of your go-to right now? It sounds like your Google Meets and your video. Actually, let me go that way. How often are you doing that? So how often are you bringing are you doing one-on-one videos with folks, or is it mainly just you're bringing your class together? And how often is that happening?
I am bringing my class together as much as I can. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have a 10 a.m. meet and then a 6 p.m. meet. And we like kind of surveyed my parents, and I was like, I know some of you are still working. I have people who are, nurses and working in the pharmacy, and these essential workers are still getting so many hours. And so I'm like, what time would work for you guys? So for me, like, I get to meet with the majority of the kids if I do a 10 a.m. and a 6 p.m.
Okay.
I also have this added element. I'm sorry, you asked a question and then I go off.
You're good. You're going.
I have this added element of a student teacher, and shout out to her. Can you imagine being a student teacher right now? So
wait a minute, what's her name? Let's give her an actual shout out.
Sarah Loomis.
Yes.
She's from AU, and she is, oh my goodness, like trying to figure out what this kind of looks like for student teachers. And they were like, all right, the teachers are trying to figure this out, like, give them some time. But I wanted her to have as much experience as possible. Sure. Like, can you imagine, like, in the fall going and trying to interview for a job, and you have this period of time? So I encourage any of the student teachers, just do what you can. Like, I have her so on those Tuesdays and Thursdays, having her do some lessons that she would do in the classroom. Like, okay. Like what is this going to look like? It's going to look different because not all the kids can make it at the same times, but at least she can try out, reading lessons, math lessons. And then if she does go to interview, she can say, look, I made this happen.
She's doing those on your meets?
On Google Meets. Gotcha. Yeah. So we are definitely in new territory, but I wanted to make it happen for her, like, as much as I possibly can. I have her in, whatever meetings I have, I'm trying to include her in those, just so she can get as much of an experience as she can, because hers was, it was cut short. So,
but this experience of seeing how you are navigating this and how you're handling the communication and the adjustment and the transition, I think is extremely valuable for any current student teacher that's going through this. If they have the ability to have that, continue to have the connection with their their mentors, like to be able to see how do we adjust, how do we keep calm to keep our students calm, all those different pieces, I think is really really important. So when you do, so you're doing 4 meets, 4 videos every week, Tuesday, Thursday. Are you finding that you're getting specific groups for different times, or are certain students in on all 4 of them, or how's that?
Well,
I'm just
at
curious.
first, I mean, there were like they just wanted to see me, and
Sure, yeah.
so I had some that like at first, those first 3 weeks, like I had a lot of kids coming to all the meets, and then this week I just added small groups. So
Okay.
on Fridays I'm going to do smaller groups of kids,
Okay.
and
More
this was
like
totally
planned out
not
scheduled time with.
yes
Okay.
with small groups, and that way I can look because I'm not taking things for grades,
Mhm.
but they can show me what they're working on. So they're seeing, oh, my teacher still values that I'm putting effort into this, or especially in second grade, like writing is a big thing for me. So just so they can like hold up their journal entry and show me what they did, or show me page 5, whatever like you're super proud of this week. Hey, let's show that to me.
I love it. I think that's been really cool. My son's class is just doing once a week where they drop him as the whole class, and almost all the kids are on every one so far, and it's been so just great to see. He's a gamer. He'd rather game than be in school, and with him being home, like unfortunately, I gotta allow him to do that more than I don't necessarily not like it. I encourage it quite a bit, but like when I pull him off that and say it's time for school, he's kind of like, oh, but when it's that time for him to connect and he gets on the screen with his classmates, like he just lights up. It's so cool to watch. So I enjoyed that a lot. So then I was going to ask another question of you and I lost it. So it's been the check-ins and communicating with them. And are you having parents, families, are they checking in on those tours? Is it just your kids? How's your communication going with your stakeholders, with your families, and is that what's your primary source? Are you doing video? Is that through just email? Is that through the classroom stream? Like, what's your angle there?
I am a Remind user, so we were already all set up on Remind, and so typically, like in the Google Classroom stream, that's more pointed to the kids, like here's your stuff, or what are you thinking? And then on Remind, I'm still connecting with parents. The first 3 weeks, we did phone calls home and just like checking in with the parents. But I still have times where they're like, hey, can you hop on Google Meet and so I can show you and see if we're on the right track? And I'm like, sure. So we have connected on Google Meets. Some of the parents have, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over procedures, some of the parents you can see over on the side in the Google Meets. Kind of checking out. Yeah. Watch and listen and make sure everybody's on the right page. But I mean, my Google Classroom has definitely become like the hub. Like if you need to find something, that's, where you can go to find it. And like I said, our district was very fortunate to be able to get that tech out to students. So if they didn't have Chromebooks at home or they didn't have a source, the school they're able to check them out from the school. Mm-hmm. And then they worked with like Armstrong and a couple of our cable companies. They did some extra hotspots around. And then they were trying to figure out like which families, like if there was like a group of families that really needed it, like trying to get another hotspot in that area. Mm-hmm. And so there's been a lot of problem solving and thinking. And I think it's really interesting because we always say like that we have so much available out there to us that we need to teach kids how to think. Like they can find the information they want. Like we need to teach them how to think. And I think right now it's been so important that we are problem solvers. I tell that to my kids, like we're real world problem solvers.
Yeah.
But you need those people. You need people who can problem solve, people that, can take action. And I always laugh in education. We always have to have like a meeting for our meeting, like to have a meeting. And like right now it's like, it's been action and I've loved it. Like we're moving, like we're figuring this out for kids. Like this is our focus. So
I like it. I like it. Erin had a good point. She said she feels like everyone's hashtag one word for 2020 is now grace. I think that's definitely a shift. Becky says, I'm pretty much getting the same students showing up to her meets. I'm trying to figure out ways to incentivize more / different kids to come.
Oh, I have an idea for that.
And then, all right, good. We're gonna have you go on that. And then, she also want to remind, great, like tonight's master chat is all about communication during this time. We have the incredible Rochelle Dene Poth leading us on that. Adam Coase wants polo shirts, so Ray polo shirts. And then Adam replied to Becky saying, I'm considering adding an additional time for meetings, but more towards the afternoon, seeing if later is better. Yeah, so one of the things that I would say, Becky, is, and I'm sure you're already thinking this way because she's awesome, but is find out whether it needs to be incentivized or to get people in, or if it's something that they just can't be there because of the timing. Because depending on when their families are working and stuff like that, they may want to be there, they just can't be. So figuring out what it is that's actually stopping, which is easier said than done. Obviously, you got to get them to reply to whatever you're asking and stuff, but trying different times like that. I love that you give them a morning time and a evening time, Brian, because I think that does help with the schedules. Because typically, unless I'm in like a weird swing schedule, like I'm going to be free from one of those and make it happen. So I think that's a good way to go. You had an idea. Go ahead. What's your incentives?
So it's not like an incentive to come. Like, it's not like, okay, you can have a candy or whatever.
I was going to say, you're sending virtual M&Ms.
You can't do that. Yeah, right. You get a star.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. But, and this was not my idea at all. I'm going to shout out to my friend Janie, because it was an idea for guest teachers. So like, we have art and gym and music, and we have these awesome small group reading teachers and library. And so we have all these people who we invited to become guest teachers on our different meet times. Mm-hmm. And so yesterday I sent out a Google sheet and with just times that they could sign up, because now I have a bunch of different times. So if they wanted to do a small group, they could do a small group. Or if they wanted to, have the hour or half hour of our, and I'll still be there too, but just introduce, hey, so-and-so is our guest teacher today. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a drop-in for the kids. So if they're like really missing, gym class or art class, or they want to see a different face, that might be a way to get more different kids to come. Like, which kid's not going to show up for gym class? Probably not a lot of them. So
my son's teacher did that. Shout out to Mrs. Durr. She had, I can't remember what was our teacher, gym teacher. Someone did the video for his writing assignment. So it was a different teacher, and so he got to see another one of the teachers that he sees, and she delivered it to everyone. They're actually doing that as a grade level. Like certain teachers are taking certain video lessons. So they're splitting up. So, there might be 5 writing lessons that require a video explanation for the week, and the teachers are splitting it all up, which is great, because then other kids who don't necessarily have that teacher are now meeting that teacher and interacting and stuff. It's been a good thing. So I like that. Becky says, cute idea. She actually does do different times on different days. So I think doing cool things like that, maybe that's the way to go, Becky. Maybe you can bring in some of your colleagues and make that happen. Alex says, as Dr. Tony Wagner says, the world no longer cares about what you know. It cares about what you do with what you know. Couldn't agree more. I think this is clear. It's shining a light on a lot of that type of stuff and what's crucial right now. Like you hit it right on the head when you said, like, right now it's just proven how important just problem solving skills are. And I think emotional intelligence of being able to control your emotions and be calm in the situation is so crucial right now. And being able to adjust and constantly adjust on the fly. Like you said, take action versus plan. That's one of the big things with, like, in a small business, you talk about like the being able to move fast is really important, because a lot of people confuse successful business people. A lot of people think that the strategies or the systems that they put in place are why they're successful, but it's actually the action that they take that creates the strategies, not the strategies that create the action. And it's the ability to be able to just take action and deal with whatever it goes. Either goes great or goes or goes horribly, and you adjust either way and don't let either thing take you too high or too low. You just move on with it. I think that's so important for teachers to be able to do, because we should be doing that all the day, every day anyway, as testing, right? Formatively assessing everything, not just our students, but also ourselves and our practices and stuff. And I think right now teachers are doing that to the max, right? Because we're just testing, we're figuring it out and going, oh, that didn't work. I'll try this next time. That didn't work. And the transparency to students of, hey, I tried doing this, it didn't work, so we're going to do it this way now. What do you guys think? And I think that's really, really important. So Mary Ritter says, as a special teacher, I love that we have been invited to a couple this week. We started our own office hour per grade level. We did our first one yesterday. We only have 5 kids, but hopefully it'll catch on. Yeah, and I think the focus is, only have 5 kids is like, you could take that badly, but you also have 5 kids that showed up and got you, right? So hopefully it does go and catch on and go to more kids. But the important thing I think to remember is that you put things in place. If kids are getting something out of it, keep doing it and keep offering that opportunity. Because whether it's 5 kids or 25 or whatever, you're impacting those kids still, and they're giving them that little extra that they need. So I love the ideas that come out of these things. So if I were to ask you right now, what kind of words of advice, words of wisdom from our Play A author to anyone right now watching, listening, whatever it might be, what's sort of the thing that you think, maybe the mental conversation with you're having yourself or whatever, that is keeping you and allowing you to navigate this right now? What's in your head? What are you telling yourself daily that others might be able to tell themselves to keep themselves level-headed and deal with this? Because if they have kids at home like you do as well, and you're also working with all your kids, you're doing all these meets, you're at your kitchen table, it's so different. How are you keeping yourself level-headed and focused on what you need to do right now?
I think that by nature, like, I am a nurturing, caring personality. And so, I mean, I keep asking myself, like, how can I help somebody else today? So I know, like, self-care is important, but, like, I feel like in the position I'm in, like, I'm doing okay. Like, it's not perfect, but I'm doing okay. So how can I help, somebody else, whether it's helping another teacher or another kid? My own kids wrote, some mail to in some nursing homes, some local nursing homes. Just like, what can we do to help other people and to give back? And I had a few ideas, and I always feel like, oh, I could do more. But, I went out yesterday and I delivered coloring books to my kids, like, just on their doorstep, like knock and run, like, social distancing. Like, I made sure that, I followed all the rules, like, they sat out for 3 days or however long. And so I did the hand sanitizer, like, don't worry, I didn't hug anybody, but it was just like, they could, like, wave at me out the window. So they know, like, I'm still here for you. Like, I guess that's my advice. Like, how can you be there for somebody, your students, your colleagues, even your admin? Like, if you reach out, and, like, my boss, she went on my Flipgrid yesterday and showed one of her talents, and it was like, it's just fun, like, like, connecting. And
your story of delivering color books has got all kinds of hearts, just so you know.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that
Adam seconds that it's definitely important to ask students what will work for them. Joe says, one of my students asked to do a hangout to see her classmates. That's where my son was. He just missed his friends. My daughter, they haven't done, she's in kindergarten. They aren't doing meets, but she's using Flipgrid a lot. Her teacher. And she watches every single video of her classmates doing Flipgrid. She goes through every single one of them, and she loves it. And then she loves being able to go on. And she does her lines. My daughter has to do her lines first. We planned it out. We scripted out what she's going to say, how she's going to wave.
Is she a type A?
She's like 6 types. And then she practices. She's like, okay, I'm ready. We'll get her all set up. And she does it. And then when she turns it off, she's like, nailed it. She's like, So
I
excited about
love
it.
that.
But she loves watching, just seeing her friends. I mean, they miss each other. Like, it's
Right.
just the way it is. So, Adam said I had several students just hang out after our class meeting was over because they wanted to just see each other. I went 45 minutes long. I had that every time my son gets on. I can tell when it ends because he starts talking a lot more. I'm like, okay, so she's not talking when I go over, and it's just him and like 3 other kids, and they're just hanging out. And I'm like, all right, stay on as long as their parents stay on. Like, and they're just goofing around, hanging out. I think it's great. It's awesome to see. Holly Stewart says my first Zoom meeting was with my students giggling and laughing at each other, 8th graders. But during the next few Zooms, my students popped in with specific questions. Yeah, I think it's really great, Holly, that you let them have that initial Zoom or whatever it might take for them to goof around, have some fun. Like, give them that grace, right? Using grace again. To have some fun. That's what they were goofing around in your classroom and in the hallways, too. They don't have that now. Right. So you just gave them that. And I think by doing that, you're going to allow them to then get to where, like, okay, now I do have a question because I got to goof around. We had some fun. Maybe I messed with my virtual background, whatever. Now I can ask the question that I'm bothering. Now I'm more comfortable in this virtual space and stuff. So I think that's great, Holly. So, Brianna, I don't want to keep you forever. We've been live for 40 minutes now. We were on 15 minutes prior to going live because you were up super early and ready to go, which I love.
was ready. Yeah.
You were ready. You're like, this is gonna. You got on, and I'm like, oh, I usually give time because I don't know like how quickly you'll get on. We didn't have any issues technology-wise, knock on wood. But it's been awesome having you in here. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening. Make sure you get into the group. If you're watching on YouTube as well, get into the group. Go to Facebook, search Teach Better Team. We'll go to teachbettergroup.com. We talked a lot about teachbetterswag.com, so I might as well shout that out. Keep letting us know what you want there. We're going to start putting up more and more stuff. I think Ray's literally working on that right now. Brianne, we mentioned your book briefly. Play A. Best place to go get that. Oh, show us. You got it right there.
I love it. It's in hardcover. I super love this.
Yes.
You can get it on EduMatch in the bookstore, or it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Wherever you go.
Yeah, wherever you go. Like, that was one of the best days of my life. Can I just tell you? Like, when you see your book on Barnes and Noble, like, my husband, when he took me on our first date, this is so off topic, but he took me to Barnes and Noble, so he knew like.
Right on, man.
I was nice. Like, I have to marry this man because he took me to Barnes and Noble. So.
That's great. I love it. Did you go for to read books, or did you do the coffee thing, like coffee and books?
We did coffee, but I was like, I mean, I had probably bought a few books that day. I'm not
I love it. That's awesome. And we are huge fans of Teach Better Team, of the EduMatch family and everyone over there. So you can go get it wherever you need to get your book. So that's great. And then lastly, I'm going to have this up on the, when this goes to YouTube, it'll be there, but right now it's not. But what's the best way for everyone to connect with you?
I am really active on Twitter at PlayYay. On Instagram, it's at PlayYayAuthor. You can also find me on Facebook. I love connecting with people, but some of my favorite chats are the Mastery chat, which I see is going to be on communication tonight. And on Sunday nights, I am on Book Camp PD. Love that chat. And also, whenever my EduMatch family is supporting something, I go over on there. So
just get in the Mastery chat tonight. You'll see Brianna, and then you'll be able to connect with her. Follow. Boom, it's done. So I love it. Really appreciate you coming on. Love hearing your stories and what you're doing with your kids and stuff. I need to look. I should have had this up. I'm never prepared for this stuff at all. Who we have, what we got going on tomorrow morning. I don't know who's. Oh, Chad's dropping in tomorrow morning. So Chad will be live tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Central Time. Be in here. This will be up on the podcast, up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/teachbetterteam. Also, I mentioned Megan's tutorial on Flipgrid. That is on YouTube. She's been doing all kinds of tech tutorials, short, easy to follow videos on Flipgrid, on quizzes, and on a whole bunch of other ones that I can't remember right now. She's working on some other ones. There's a new upcoming unreleased feature so far right now on Screencastify. It's coming out soon that we're able to get early access to, and Megan just finished up videos on that. So I'm going to be working on those today and tomorrow to get those out as well. So a lot of great stuff over there. If you're listening on the podcast, watching on YouTube, make sure you come join us in the group, teachbettergroup.com, or search Teach Better Team on Facebook. We are here every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time, and we will continue doing these until you all tell us to stop. So don't tell us to stop, and we'll be good. Appreciate everyone commenting. Really appreciate you all getting up with us and joining us for coffee and hanging out. Brianne, I so appreciate you jumping in and sharing everything. We will see you all tomorrow morning, and have an awesome Thursday. We'll see you at Master Chat tonight and in the morning. Appreciate all you.